Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Boardsy, and this is a video that, holy shit, that I did not think I was going to be making, ever since I switched my keyboard from the Apex Pro. My comment section has been filled with people asking me what this is, and it's kind of ironic, like ironic in the boomer way, because I've shown this keyboard off before, but nobody seems to remember that. I don't care, I'll talk about it again, but the reason I switched off the Apex Pro, obviously, that is my favorite keyboard. Why would I ever switch off it? It actually stems from TikTok beef. I sent my Apex Pro to, I think, the biggest tech talker. If you don't know what I'm talking about, consider yourself lucky that you haven't been on TikTok yet. But yeah, I sent this to I sent my Apex Pro to Carter PCs. He did a review, or a quote-unquote review of it. It was a TikTok video, man. I'll leave that in the description if you want to check that out. But yeah, I had to send my physical Apex Pro to him. So that is the only situation that could get me to stop using the greatest keyboard of all time. But clearly not having the Apex Pro on hand has given me time to explore different keyboards that I already own. I tried to buy a GMMK Pro. I reserved it like 5 or 6 months back, but then when it eventually shipped out, the package got lost, and I was like, I just fucking hate Glorious. Give me my money back. So that's kind of where I'm at in that situation. I just don't see myself buying any keyboards anytime soon. Once I get the Apex Pro back, I'm gonna fucking switch with it. So it's not like I switched off the Apex Pro forever. It was simply a part of my crusade to try to teach the world what's right. But unfortunately, it failed. He still doesn't appreciate greatness. And you know, not everybody can. So this is an NK65 with silk reds in it. And of all the keyboards I own, which really isn't that many, especially compared to my mice and mouse pads, this is definitely my second favorite. And if you're wondering about the keycaps, I'm telling you, if you use like your number keys in game, just try to flip the keycaps, and I don't think anybody will go back. I think it's just objectively preferable. It looks stupid, yes, there's no doubting that. But if you use them in game, I think it's just a bit nicer. It makes the profile feel a bit lower. Oh yeah, also the keycaps, these are like Mistel PBT keycaps. I don't care if they're somehow like unethical, and also you see that they're kind of dirty. That's because this keyboard was like face down on a carpet for probably like well over a month, so it's a miracle that they're even as clean as they are. But yeah, for a custom keyboard, I think this build overall was like $200, and I didn't modify shit. I take pride in not doing any of the keyboard hobby stuff because I just find it stupid. Why would I buy something and then lube it when I could just pay for something that's pre-lubed? You know, it just makes a lot of sense in my head. But I don't hate on people who like devote their lives to keyboards. I think that's a very brave effort. But yeah, I'm not going to try to drag this video on. The only reason I'm even making it is because so many people are wondering like what this keyboard was and why I switched off the Apex Pro. So yeah, it wasn't because I found a better keyboard. I will say that for gaming, it's not like terrible. Like using a custom keyboard for gaming is not going to make you worse, but you can notice that the key input just like it doesn't register as fast, and it just feels more fluid with optical switches, not even just specifically the Omni points. But that's what I've noticed, at least in my experience, and people seem to only be able to view it like through these extremes. And people make keyboard input into a very black and white issue where you either think that, yes, it matters so much, like you need a good keyboard to be good at games, or people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. But it seems like with every peripheral, there's at least some people who are going to be like, it doesn't matter. But in reality, it's such a nuanced topic, as you can tell by this Microsoft Paint demonstration. I just think that if you're a gamer, you shouldn't really be staying away from gaming keyboards just because the like elitist custom keyboard community is telling you to. With the NK65, I will say that I don't know how I feel about the whole like typing experience argument. Like I've just done so much typing on the Apex Pro and had no complaints, but it does sound nicer on customs. And if to you that is something that will make you happier in some way, just go with a custom because they will sound nicer and you have full control over how they sound. For example, I don't give a fuck how mine sounds. You might think these stabilizers are rattly. Shut up. Except for the spacebar. I can acknowledge that the spacebar is horrible. But all of the other keys, they feel perfectly fine. These sound very creamy almost. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it. But it's a more like deep sound than the Omni Points have. And you know, it's like I was forcing myself to type, like do all of my schoolwork with my headphones off to see if I could force myself to appreciate it. And I really couldn't. I was like, oh, this sounds a bit nicer than my keyboard used to, but that's really all it was. And I don't think it's worth something, or I don't think it's something worth draining a significant amount of money into. But if you want to go for an entry level custom, dip your toes into the water, fucking go for it. Just don't buy a GMMK Pro because they won't give you it. But yeah, that's going to be all. I just wanted to clear up why I didn't have my Apex Pro, because clearly that would be like cheating on your wife of like many years. But yeah, this all did stem from like some TikTok memes. So, I mean, if you don't follow my TikTok already, you truly are missing out. I'm not really going to explain it too much. I guess I could do like a TLDR. I guess click off the video if you don't care. Basically, the guy had been making fun of the Apex Pro without trying it. He said he was poor and couldn't afford it. So I'm a charitable man. I offered him my Apex Pro and he fucking accepted it. So I just sent it to him. That's the super TLDR version. I'll leave the link to his quote unquote reviews in the description. And yeah, that's going to be all. Like and sub. Peace.